And welcome to an overview of the Pilot Custom 74 pen. This pen I've had for a while in my collection. I got it on eBay a little while back. Many of you probably heard about the Custom 74 being Brian Goulet's, if you watch these videos, pen videos, one of his favorite pens for a number of reasons. I believe he mentioned it was his first gold pen. It's a wonderful writer. It gets a lot of good press and talk out there in the pen community. A lot of people will say that it's like the smaller sibling to the Pilot Custom 823. Obviously, the Pilot Custom 823 is a bigger pen. It's a vac filler, so it's a little bit it's different. But they're both writing. They've been compared. It's like little brother, big brother pen. And so when I was looking to get a music nib, I was trying to decide between do I want the platinum music nib or do I want the Pilot music nib. I'd seen some people give it a bad rap, but I have to say that I don't agree. I've had nothing but a pleasant experience with a music nib in this pen. The reason why I wanted to get a music nib in my Pilot Custom 74 was because I didn't want just another pen with a medium nib. I knew I was going to get the 823, so I wanted something else to differentiate it from that, other than the obvious differentiators, I should say. And so I thought music nib, that's what I'm going to get. So here you see it's just a regular classic cigar shaped pen. It says Pilot. On the clip here, the clip is pretty sturdy. It's snug, very snug. It's on there very hard. I understand it works well sliding it over the pocket of pants. I wasn't sure how I felt about the ball, but it doesn't bother me. Again, I purchased the pen because it was all about the nib. So I'm going to show you that. This pen didn't come with a converter. But I'm going to show you here. I purchased the Con 70 separately, and that it has quite a bit of ink capacity. So that's what I have in here. So it's all about the nib. It's all about the nib with this pen. So let's get a good look at that. There we go. That's a pretty good look at the two slits in the music nib. And that's characteristic of most music nibs. It allows for the extra ink flow onto the paper. So you do need a pen that's got a pretty sufficient feed in order to support all the ink that a music nib puts down on the paper. As you can imagine, with a regular nib, that the two tines spread open like that as you write. So you have three of them doing that, so you're going to get a lot more ink on the paper. The thought being with the music nib, back in the day when people were writing out the notes by hand on the paper, that you could fill in the circles for the whole notes easy and quickly. The way the nib works, and I'll show you in the writing example, is another reason why a nib like this was conducive to composing and writing out the music on paper, is because of the line variation that the music nib offers as well. So let's take a moment to look at the sizing of this pen and see how it compares to some other pens. So here we have a TWSBI Fat 700. Sorry there. You see it's a little bit smaller. Here we have the Lamy. That's an All-Star. Franklin Christoph 02 Intrinsic. So again, it's a little bit smaller, and a Pilot Vanishing Point. So there you have it, size-wise, comparison of the pens uncapped. And you can see it's smaller in stature. The nib is smaller. It looks to me to be a number 5, the TWSBI pin here is a number 6, so you can definitely see that it's smaller. Franklin Christoph nib here, that's a 6. This is a Lamy 1.9. So you can see that it's smaller in stature. As a whole, the pen and the nib size is smaller. But it's very comfortable in the hand to write with. Holding the pen to write with. It's certainly long enough to be written with uncapped. As you can see there. It posts well. Here is the pen posted. So, just for comparison, you can see posted. Posting it does not make it back heavy or anything. It still maintains the weight pretty good, feels good in the hand. And then unposted. The grip section is adequate enough. The threading doesn't bother me, pretty smooth. So that's not an issue if you hold your pen further back. I'd add that the threading is very smooth action, extremely smooth. Let's see how many turns. 1, 2. There you go. Comes off. So all in all, a pen is extremely comfortable in the hand to write with posted or unposted. Lots of room on the section. Feels good in the hand. Feels very good in the hand. Pretty light with this resin black material. I like it. I love writing with it. So let's put the pen to paper and do a quick writing sample. Most musical notes you have, circle, then you go up, go where you have a thicker circle. So you can see that it makes for different line variation to make those musical notes. Going sideways, you get a very thin line, much like you do in a stub or a cursive italic. Coming down, you get a much wider line. And so that style was conducive, for making the various music notes. So thus the name music nib. But even for those of us who aren't composing great compositions these days, it makes for a lovely writing experience. The nib is wide, much like a broad or a stub nib. I'm going to say maybe around 1 millimeter or so wide, or bigger even in some instances. So it makes for a very interesting writing experience and adds a lot of character to your writing. Okay, so here we go. We have Pilot Custom 74. This ink I'm using is Fire and Ice, which is very lovely shaving. I love it in this pen. A pen like this can really make the best out of an ink like that because of all the ink that goes down on the paper. As you can see, the difference in the line variation. This is a good writer. I've been writing with it. I may need some ink in here, but there you can see the difference. It's very smooth. I had read some things that I was wondering if I should get a music nib in a Pilot pen. Everyone talks about the Franklin Christoph, which I'm sure is great, and the Platinum. I was trying to decide between the Platinum and a Pilot, but I went with the Pilot music nib, and I gotta say I am pleasantly surprised. It writes very well. You can get a little reverse writing. It's a little scratchy. Just write a little bit more here. So it's a very good writer. It writes very smooth. Very smooth. I'm very pleased with it, I have to say. You can see the ink flow here. Write some, make it come bigger. And again, I need probably to refill this pen, so don't pay attention to the little bit of railroading you see there. It's mostly because I've been using this a lot, and I probably should write higher up with it. But it's very smooth. Puts a lot of ink on the paper. I like it. Like it a lot. I like to use it, like I said, for inks that have a lot of shading and I want to show them off. I go to this pen. And this will kind of differentiates things for me versus another Pilot pen or a Sailor or something else with a regular nib. So you can find this very reasonably priced on eBay with a music nib. I'm certain you can probably get it from a retailer as well. I don't know what the pricing would be, but just something to consider to potentially add to your collection. And so there you have it, Pilot Custom 74 music nib. 2 thumbs up for me. Definitely recommend it. If you like the video and this offered you some form of information, please hit like and subscribe to future videos that I'll be putting out here. Thank you so much. Peace.